Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluwasegun. I talk about tech career, product, and leadership. Here I'm going to be talking about product requirement document today. What is product requirement document? Well, if this is the first time you're coming to this channel, welcome, and you should subscribe so that you can get a lot of videos from me on product management and also tech career. Back into the business of today. Product requirement document. So a product requirement document is a document, as the name implies. It contains so many things. It contains different things we want to know about a product, all the information that is required of anyone to know about a product. Who are the people that needs it? Well, most of the times it's all the stakeholders on the team that needs it. Anybody who wants to know something about the product will go into the product requirement document. Product requirement document is a key document used in the product development process. It outlines the requirements for a new product or feature, essentially acting as a blueprint for the development team. Here is a breakdown of what a typical product requirement document is. So before we get into what breakdown is really all about, we already know that a product requirement document, as I've explained, it's a source of truth. We have different sources of truth on a product. Everywhere you can get information about a product and exact information about a product, we call them source of truth. Let's know the purpose first before we get into this. The product goals. So you can see the product goal clearly defined inside the product requirement document. It helps us with smooth communication within the team. Like I've mentioned, that it's a source of truth, and it serves as a reference point for developers, designers, and stakeholders throughout the development process. Everybody knows where to go to get the direct information on anything. Let's talk about the features. The features of product requirement documents as follows. Number one, product overview. Product overview actually contains what the product is all about. Anybody coming into the document will just be able to see, okay, by taking a glance, you understand what the product is all about and the goal we want to achieve with that product. The second thing inside the product requirement document is the scope and objectives. Of course, you want to build a social media application. It doesn't mean you want to build everything at once. You might want to start and come in with updates as time goes on. And that is why we define clearly, this is the scope of this product, this is what we want to cover. We don't want to move beyond this and that. So the whole developments in the stakeholders and everybody that needs to know anything on the product, they know the exact thing that is coming out with the particular version they are trying to release, that they have designed the product requirement for. There's something we call functional requirement, and functional requirement describes the specific features and functionalities that are coming into the product. So for every of the feature that you need to put in the products, you have already itemized and highlighted them under your functional requirement, things that users will be able to interact with, and there are things that they will be able to see. Most of the times, maybe the authentication, like login button, the sign up feature, and even the profile feature, and every of the feature that they need to interface with, anything a user is interacting or interfacing with. All right, there's another one called the non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements, these are requirements that are not actually what users have to interact with. So it specifies quality or characteristics that a product could have. Number one, data requirements. It could be how you want to pass data or data flow requirements, or even performance metric, the flexibility on the product, even the scalability, security measures, and everything that users do not have to interact with, but they must be in the product. Use case and user stories. Use case and user stories, these are things that covers what different type of users will be coming into the product to do. So what is a use case? A use case covers the different kind of users that are coming into the product. Take for instance Jumia as an application. Jumia has three types of users. Number one, the admin, like the administrator of the platform. They have sellers, people that sell on the platform, and we have the third one, which is the buyers, which is in fact the most important thing on the platform, the buyers on the platform. So we have three categories of users that you might find on Jumia, and for this they might have more than three use cases. In the real sense, they will definitely have, but these are the categories of people that we have an idea of, that are part of the system that could use the application, and this is what we call the use case. So you say this type of user, they are called actors. This is the kind of user that use this There's the kind of user that use that, and this is the kind of user that use the other things or features on the application. User stories identifies each thing that each user can do on the platform. Like the name implies, user stories. User stories are well-crafted documents, or let me say well-crafted piece of writing that describes what a user really wants on a product. Of course, it's not the user that actually writes it, it's the product manager that actually writes it. You are the one writing a solution. You're proposing a solution in respect to a problem that you have identified from a user, and you are coming from solution perspective and suggesting it to the development team for them to develop for you. Also, data requirements, they are important. You need to show us the data requirement. They specify the data that the product will need to store or manipulate or even interact with. If there are data from outside or external environment, you need to state them clearly, the schema, the data models, and most of the times this is connected to the technical requirements for the team. Now, user interface design. The link to your prototype should be attached to your product requirement document. Talk about it, talk about all the things that are done, the mockups, the wireframe, and everything you do on the platform as far as user interface is concerned. I mean to say the product design, and also your flow diagrams need to be there as well. What about assumptions and dependencies? Yes, if there are assumptions, maybe you are building an application now that requires internet. Part of your assumptions should be that provided, or let me say it's assumed that your users are connected to the internet. And also dependencies, if there are APIs or endpoint that you need to interact with, you should put them in there to show that you are depending on some of this things. What of acceptance criteria? Acceptance criteria is more of breakdown of your user stories. If you say, as a user, I want to be able to log in on this application so I can do one or two things on the application. Acceptance criteria is coming from the deep explanation of what a user should do on login. Maybe you want to tell them, okay, we should do password validation at login. The user should be able to see an icon an eye icon that shows the image of an eye, that shows that okay, you can actually view the password you have imputed, or a password validation match out, something along inside it, and the way you want your success message to be written when you're finally logged in, and the way you want your error message to be written when you are not logged in. These are things that are important to the system that you need to figure in, or that you need to factor in, so there are no assumptions on the project. Now, constraints and risk. The risk you are taking and the constraint. Maybe users may not be able to use the product if something happens at a point. If economy barrier comes in, you need to state every single thing as far as this is concerned. The constraints you have in executing this product the best way, you need to also factor this into whatever you are building. Also, your timeline and milestone is very important to put into your product documentation. It's important, like extremely important. Your roadmap, your milestone. We need to know, okay, for week 1, for week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and all of these things. We need to see everything. The last part, which is very important, is the stakeholder sign off. Everybody that is concerned with the project, that has something to do with the product, they must all sign off to say, this is the scope of the project that we are working on, and this is all we have to do. So this stakeholder sign off is very important to the system, and you can't actually do without it. You give them opportunity to read and also append their signature to it, owing to them that okay, you signed to this particular product that we are going to be implementing this, and we hope that this is what we're going to be building. And this is all about product requirement document. Are there things I did not add that you think should be a part of product requirement document? Feel free to drop this in the comment section, and ensure to subscribe to this channel so you can get more of this video. Share this video with someone, like it as well, and also, like I mentioned earlier, comment on this video to be able to help someone who wants to learn more, or how you feel about this video, the problem it has solved for you. See you in my next tutorial. Bye for now.